Welcome back to Animatronic University. My name is Jesse Bray, and I'm your instructor. So here we are in Chapter 3, the intermediate course on editing, and this is going to be one of my personal favorite lessons. Is about how to create a motion graphics piece. So let's play this real quick. So we are going to cover in this piece create a motion graphics. We're going to start with audio. We're going to be using text and shapes only. We're going to animate the opacity, animate scale, animate position, and rotation. And now let's take a look at what this project looks like. I'm going to put it in high def. And we're going to move right here. Check. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay, let's go inside this. Motion graphics. Motion graphics are everywhere. Even this little banner that comes in when you create a new ad in Animatron, it's called a motion graphics. It's typically something that's just animating, but not necessarily characters. So it's used in a general sense, but whenever you watch sports or any type of newscast, any little graphic that comes along line, it's considered a motion graphics. Anything that's not necessarily narrative. And narrative, usually, like, there's a normal story that's being told, but that's not always the case. I'm just saying motion graphics encompasses that realm of animation that is not a web series or characters. It's more graphics, more focused on design than it is on telling a story with characters. Okay, so covering back through, we're going to create a motion graphics. So a graphic. So let's look at our example here. Now this is, of course, looks pretty intimidating when you look down below, but actually this was quite a simple scene to put together. Let's play it real quick. I'm going to break it down how I built this. I found this music here, this world groove loop, found it in our audio tracks. Let's go, I believe. Yeah, the world groove loop. Now this actual track gets taken off. So, but I wanted to keep it simple so you can get the idea. The principles of motion graphics, when you want to do something in motion, you're working in time, and that's the strength of motion and animation that you don't get with still graphics. With still, like posters, you don't actually get to dive in and see what it looks like, because you're only looking when you're talking about a billboard. It only can grab your attention for a second, but in animation we're moving in time. So we want to grab a piece of music. I'm going to use this same world groove piece of music. It's got a nice drum beat to it. Okay, and first what I did is I'm just gonna deconstruct. I drew a circle. And so we're going to do this all over again. I'm going to duplicate this project, but I'm going to delete all these other little shapes, just so I can show you how fun and easy it is to do this. I can do it completely from scratch. So let's draw a circle, hold shift, and let's get the rhythm for it. Yeah, let's go down here, let's zoom in. So think about that rhythm. So that rhythm is going to guide you when you're creating this type of animation. So we want something that bounces. We want something that moves around, like bum 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 bum. Well, a nice way to do this is with opacity. So if we make the opacity land right about when it beats, so let's go. It goes right here. So plus, so boom boom. We're just adding some keyframes. Boom boom. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. So boom, 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 boom. This will make sense as you start playing with it. Being an animator means that you're typically in tune to music. So if you don't like music much, you will have trouble with animation. There's something innately rhythmic and musical about animation that if you already are and have a background with music, you're going to really, really, really take off. And you just understand that a lot of animation is feeling it instead of actually thinking it. And I know that sounds weird because we're dealing with software and technology and particular properties and panels that seem specific, but good animation is felt, just like good music is felt. All right, so let's take the opacity. Let's go back to tab. Now we're in animation mode. Sometimes I just like to lay down the keyframes where I want things to happen before I even begin to animate them. So let's turn that opacity off. Boom. Let's turn it back on. Let's turn it off. Okay, so turn back on. Turn it off. Turn it back on. Turn it off. And turn back on. There we go. Let's try this thing. So bump, 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 bump. So that's not too bad. And what you want to do is you want to try to hit the downbeat, but it doesn't actually have to be perfect. It just has to be rhythmic. And rhythmic animation, that's a big part of a principle of visual communication, is that rhythm is part of how we see and enjoy the world around us. When we see patterns in trees or in the grass or the sun, all these different things, they exist in nature. And it helps us to kind of feel art. And that's the thing, is we're trying to make art that's meaningful. Okay, so what I would do right here, let's just take this here and loop it. Go change in action to loop. And let's see what that looks like. All right, and this rhythm is great because you can play a lot with this. Bum, 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 bum. All right, so now we've changed the opacity. So let's do this. Let's tab out. Let's create another shape. I like to go with rectangle. I want to use a red rectangle. And this one is just we're going to animate position. So a little bit simpler than the last one. So boom, 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 boom. So this is already kind of laid down our first. The first one was the most difficult because we were figuring out where the beat was. So let's move in. Let's zoom in, and let's start him over here, or her, whatever the shape. Tab over. So we're thinking, how do we want this to be? We're going to slide this back and forth. Okay, so make sure we're not in animation mode. Make sure we're just going through and we're adding some keyframes. So we're going to press plus. Plus, plus. One, two, three, four. Let's try to make sure we have a nice even number of keyframes. Okay, now let's go back to tab. So now V. Let's have this go all the way across the screen. Boom. Okay, boom, back and forth. Okay, so that one goes there. We're gonna bring this guy back over again. A little bit more rhythm to it. And you see the cool thing how when we lay down the keyframes before we even begin, it helped us to have a nice 0 point, a point of reference as we're animating back and forth, so we don't have to keep remembering where the first keyframe was. Okay, and then let's go back to this last one. Right click, change in action to loop. Let's tab out. Tab as in getting out of animation mode. Now let's play this. Hey, look at that. How cool is this? All right. All right. Well, now I want to do two more. We're going to do some rotation. So we played with blue, we played with red, now let's play with yellow. So let's click on the star, And let's do 3 vertices. That should give us a triangle. Okay, plus B. And let's make it a little bit smaller. And let's change the fill to yellow. And let's rotate this puppy. So let's press T, plus. We're going to plus before, just like before. We're just going through the timeline and we're adding some fun keyframes. Okay, I think we can get away with just 4 keyframes. So the first one's going to be here, tab over, rotate this puppy, rotate twice. And you see how it actually remembers how many times you rotate it? This is actually something that only Animatron has done this, and I'm just saying as a person who's played with a lot of other animation software, I love that you can just see how many rotations you have in this initial, so we can actually animate nice spins, multiple spins. So, whoa. And then we have our first rotation, then boom, let's do the other one and spin it a little bit more. Okay. Now I am going to loop this. I'm going to do something slightly different. So let's play it. So, okay, but now I'm going to tab out to design mode, and I'm going to right click and convert to a movie clip. And the reason why I'm doing that is I'm going to duplicate it. So I'm going to duplicate this clip a couple different times. And I want to move him over. So I'm actually going to start him at a different rotation, or start it at a different rotation. So that way it gives a little bit of variety. Okay, let's check this out now. Check it out. Here's our motion graphics piece. Okay. I just want to move this up a little bit so it's inside the canvas. Are we missing something? I think we are. Let's, first off, I want these actually to be a little bit more aligned. So, we can tweak this more and more. All right, last piece. All right, we did position, we did opacity, we did rotation, and now let's do scale. And now we're going to do that with like we did. We're going to do with type tool, and I'm going to put motion. Command A. Go in here, and if you remember from the beginner course, what is my favorite font? Alright, the Abril Fat Face. Okay. Let's stretch this puppy out. Hold down Shift. Now let's do scale. Now when it comes to fonts, I found that the best way to deal with fonts is to actually right click on them, go to Convert Text to Shape, and what that does is it takes it from no longer a font to now it's going to be basically a graphic, like it's going to be interpreted by the computer as a graphic. So what that means for us is that sometimes fonts can be kind of finicky, but hopefully that will sort that finicky issue out. So let's make it big, so boom. At this point we're going to keyframe, we're going to add a keyframe, make it smaller, keyframe, make it bigger, keyframe. Alright, so at this point let's press tab. I forgot one thing. When you're going to scale things out, you want to put them where you want them to stretch from. So look how I put that registration point right there. It means I'm going to move it that way. So this is where your registration point makes a difference. Boom, 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 boom. And let's stretch it out one more time. All right, let's loop that because I already know it's going to look good. Play. Look at that, we just made some cool motion graphics. All right, I'm proud of you actually. So what we're gonna do is don't forget to duplicate this project and to share it with the world. Add your own little spin to it, and yeah, you learned how to make a motion graphics piece in a really short time. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to seeing all the cool projects you guys put out there. So I'll see you all later on in the course. Bye.